Crossing the bridge to reality. And this is Walk and Talk 25. Race. No, I'm not talking about a car race, a track race, or a running race, or a marathon race. I'm talking about the race, different races around the world. All beautifully different. I suppose we should start off by saying the sorcerers at the top dislike all races equally. So they're not friends of Africans, they're not friends of Indians, they're not friends of Chinese or Europeans, South Americans. They're not friends to any of you races. There's they dislike you all equally. Although I tell a lie, I think they dislike the Celtic race. So the white Caucasians of Europe, I think they dislike them the most, because Celts don't really like tyranny and they don't stand for it. Caucasians in Europe in history have been known to stand up against tyranny. That's why all the world wars, that's why especially the two big world wars crushing the white Caucasian male. But really, they don't like any races. And once they're done with the white Caucasian male, they're going to crush the black people. They're going to crush the brown people, the yellow people. They're going to crush all the people. So while there's people out there saying, oh, you know, white privilege, white men have privilege, English white people have privilege, the white male has privilege. I'll tell you now about privilege. Go and, like I say, look at the First and Second World War, where millions of white males were put to slaughter. Oh, so privileged, weren't they? I'll tell you something else as well. Go and look at all the workhouses of the 18th century and tell me how privileged those little 4 to 5 year old children were working in flax mills until they're physically disabled. And some of them 18 hours a day. So privileged. So much white privilege. You see, we're all slaves here, right? I'm trying obviously not to be, that's why I'm out here, but we're all slaves. Doesn't matter what colour you are. One race hasn't had it worse in history than the other race. Don't think I'm making that point. But it does sadden me when I hear people spitting out white privilege. You know? Or anybody taking one race side of a race or another. Let's talk about something else about races. The way that I see it, races are kind of like trees. The way that you would get an oak tree growing in Europe, but you won't get oak trees growing down here. The way that you get coniferous forests growing in Europe, but you don't get them here. The way that you get different trees growing in Africa that don't grow here and don't grow in Europe. People are the same sort of deal. The different races come from different parts of the world. They, just like trees, were made in those parts of the world for those parts of the world. Trees in Japan are not nowhere else in the world. Just like people. So when people try to tell me that, oh no, we all come from Africa. No, we don't. That again is just another psychological operation to put down the white male. You know why the white male is being targeted? Because the white male is the only problem that the sorcerers have experienced heavily as a heavy problem in the past. So they used them, run them all into bullets. All those strongest male genes ran into bullets. And what you're left with now are not so many of the strong male genes left. So again, anybody that speaks white privilege needs to go and get their head read. Needs to go and look at history in its totality, not just on the little droplet that they fancy looking at. And it's even worse when you've got weak white men that are stood there saying, oh, I've got white privilege, oh, I've got white privilege. Do they have any idea? Do those white weak men have any idea how much slaughter, suffering and pain that his ancestors have had to go through in order for him to stand there and say, he's got white privilege, he's not worthy? It's absolutely pathetic, huh? Yeah, pathetic. Pathetico. So yeah, races of people are like different animal species, different bird species. There's a different fox that exists in this jungle to the one that exists in Europe. It's the same with humans, and human races are different. No matter what anyone says, they are totally different in their way, in their mannerisms, and beautifully so. Not only in their mannerisms, even in their physical anatomies are different. Some are built for speed, some are built for strength, some are built for intelligence, more intelligence. Is that racist to state those facts? Is it really racist to say those things? I don't think so. It's just a fact. Races are different. And beautifully so. Not negatively so. Beautifully different. It's another... I'll give you an example of how races really work, right? When I was a young man serving in the military, it was the British military, and of course in the British military you have many different races. Nepalese, South Africans, Africans, Caribbeans, Fijians, all different. People from all different parts of the world serving in the British Army. And you know, when we're on exercise or in conflict, in theatre, in the theatre of war, we would all work together. There'd be no difference between any of us, except for our strengths and weaknesses. We all worked together and knuckled in together and mucked in together. But you know, whenever meal time came, be it breakfast, lunch or dinner, and we went to the cookhouse, do you know what you found? Surprisingly enough. Do you know what you found? You'd find all the Nepalese sat on a table together, all the people from South Africa sat on a table together, all the Africans sat together, all the Caribbeans sat together on their own table, All the Fijians sat together on their own table. I guess that's flipping racist, right? Yeah? I guess that's what racism is, isn't it? You want to force all the people to sit together even though they don't want to. They prefer to sit with their own kind. Because races are different. Different cultures. Beautiful, right? To have different cultures. Oh no, that's not good enough for them flipping head-wrecked folks out there. So that's a fact. That's a fact of how different races behave under natural circumstances. I remember seeing that and thinking, okay, so racism's a lie then. All of those people must be racist because they want to sit with their own kind, eh? What a fallacy. What a joke. Anyone who believes that has got problems with their head. I think that's about it for race. I don't have any more to cover on it. I think I've covered all the bases there of what I wanted to say. But it's very clear that races are different, beautifully so. They didn't all come from one place on the earth. They come from all over the place. And they prefer being with their own kind. Why do you think the Islam community isn't integrating so well with English people in why do you think any society where you push foreigners into their culture, into their society, why do you think they don't mix? Why do you think they don't mix? Do you think that's racist? Whoever thinks that way needs to get a grip and understand how the world really works. And that's all I have to say on the matter. I think we'll leave it there. Brilliant, eh? Bruce! Whiskey! Oh, my black knight. How we doing, mister? You gonna say goodbye? Say bye-bye then. Say see you later. Goodbye all, be blessed.